Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. Years ago, about a couple of weeks before my mother passed away, an ugly rumor that had been in our family circulating for years came back up. And this ugly rumor had been about my mother. And so I asked my mother to address it to those who were circulating it. And she got on the phone with these two people. And at the time, my mother was breathing from one lung, and she mustered up the strength to tell them that it was a lie, and she gave them the truth, and she let them know that it was an ugly lie that had followed her around for years, and she didn't appreciate it, that it hurt her, and it caused a great deal of pain that became something that spiraled into other things, and that she had dealt with it and had forgiven it and moved forward, but those who hadn't even been around were now perpetuating this lie. Well, they apologized and said, "Oh, sorry, didn't know, and why would the other person say that, and that's so crazy." And then shortly after my mother's passing, maybe a month or so, these same two people brought that ugly lie back again, and they kept going with it. And I wondered why, because they had the opportunity to hear the truth from the person who had been there, the person who this lie had been about. And it was one of the last things she was able to say to them. I wonder, what is this about? And then I remembered the simple idea of scapegoating. I think somewhere in the book of Leviticus, where the sins of the people are put on this goat, and the goat is sent out into the wilderness, literally a scapegoat for the sins of others. And my mother had become their scapegoat. And so even when presented with the truth, these folks they felt the need to use her for whatever it was they hadn't become or hadn't done. Somebody had to bear the burden of their lack, their insecurities. Today we're debating and arguing facts and things that we can see. We know the truth about both of these pandemics, the pandemic of coronavirus and the pandemic of racism, and yet we need scapegoats to carry our sins because we don't want to look at our own. And one thing I know for certain, and two I know for sure, is it doesn't work like that. We have to work out our own salvation, however you do that. My mother left here not only free, but she helped to set me free. Her wisdom and her words and her kindness and her love has outlived any lie that anybody could ever tell. And the same with all of us. We have to face our own truth. And we can look at what we think others are doing or not doing, how they're doing their stuff or not doing their stuff, but we really have to, at the end of the day, come back to our own self, because that's who we have and that's what we got to work with. It's why I put that little hashtag inner work, because all of this is all about working on our own self. I love you. There's no more need for scapegoats. We are the light. Shine.